Good morning.
Good morning. Welcome to Media Pulse, the show where we help you make sense of what goes on in Thai politics.
Another busy week, a week full of speculation, twists and turns, and the media has been kept busy trying to make sense of what goes on.
Exactly, but definitely there's one star of the show.
That's right.
Which is Mr. Thaksin, the former Prime Minister.
And I know that, Clare, you have prepared a set of newspaper headlines that should sum up the mood of the Thai media toward what is going on in the political scene, right?
Yes, definitely. So let's look at the first headline from Manager Online. This one basically says, Thaksin eliminates all opponents, takes full control, with a question mark and an exclamation mark behind the sentence. Do we still need a question mark at this point? I'm not sure.
Definitely not. The word control seems to be in every headlines of the newspapers when they talk about Kun Thaksin's role.
Yes, but if you look at other headlines, let's look at this one from Thai Rat. There's a quote from Kun Phompong, who is a supporter of Thaksin, and then he says, this is a new chapter in history.
Well, he's one of the spin doctors who have been trying very hard to portray a picture of unity, of reconciliation, of a new dawn of the Thai democracy with the erstwhile adversaries of Kun Thaksin now being recruited to join his party, the Thai party, right?
Yes. So basically, all this translates to only a few phrases. I think Thaksin takes control.
That's right. Yeah.
Takes political takeover. Thaksin's in charge.
Thaksin's clean sweep, and then Thaksin's revenge completed. This is a very interesting headline. Because Sun Thaksin definitely has a long list of people that he wants to seek revenge against, right?
We do have the star of the show on screen. It's been very busy, visiting Chiang Rai, the flood areas as well as giving interviews.
So his role, in all the aspects of the ongoing political activities has been in the headlines in all the major media outlets in the past 1 week. But what I think is interesting is that all the headlines that you just show and others that we didn't show you seem to have the same connotation, because these media outlets want to convey a message that someone fresh from being an ex-convict is now orchestrating Thailand's political show.
Yeah, remember he's just received a royal pardon, so he's been a free man recently.
And certainly he has wasted no time in flexing his political muscles, right?
Yes.
And he's now being seen by the Thai media as the undisputed kingmaker, even though he doesn't hold any formal positions in or out of the government.
Although he's related to the Prime Minister. There's a debate last week whether or not he has control over the Prime Minister, remember? And then some of the news report actually says he's been trying to, I don't know, he's somehow involved in the ongoing formation of the new cabinet.
Oh, definitely. I think the Thai media have been giving a very clear indication that every major political decision to be made by Thai party, including the ongoing attempts to form a new coalition under the leadership of his daughter, Kun Thongtan, has to have his blessing. So that only goes to show how much control he has on the party and the Prime Minister.
Oh, actually, we do have a caricature. Let's look at the cartoon. We have this cartoon from the newspaper as well. The first one's from Matichon. And basically, it has a picture of a man. Let's look at the first one on the left, my left. Anyway, so there's a man who says, strip it all off and then please board the ship. And the ship's got the word government written on it.
Okay.
And another caption that's very small says, 10 years is not too late to get revenge.
Okay.
And what they are stripping off.
And first of all, the man that you see on the screen is none other than Thaksin Shinawatra. Right?
Yeah, and they're stripping off all the ideology before they board the boat.
The message is that Thaksin doesn't care what you believe in. As long as you are with me, then you take off whatever you have on you and join my ship.
Okay.
But there's no guarantee how how long the ship will survive in the rough sea.
Yeah, it doesn't look very stable, does it? Okay, there's the next one. The one just next to it, it's got a man with a red T-shirt with a letter T on it, carrying paper airplanes, and all the former paper airplanes that he has thrown has crash landed.
I see.
Less than 3 years.
I see. And all those paper airplanes represent the previous prime ministers that Thaksin played a role in propping them up. And they all ended in not a very desirable manner.
Yeah, the caption actually reads, records are meant to be broken.
Okay, and the last aeroplane, the paper aeroplane, also looks like has just been crashed. And, and the caricature is simply trying to imply that there's no guarantee how long that his daughter, Kun Paetongtarn, will be in office, can survive in office. Right, okay.
Okay.
Okay, but what interesting, Kun Clare, you just mentioned the message in the first cartoon that the 10 years are not too late, right?
Yes, that's
I think that's a saying in Thai that 10 years are not too late if you want to seek revenge. And revenge is best served cold. That seems to be Kun Thaksin's mantra this day.
How cold? How cold?
Oh, it must have been very cold after 17 years of self-exile, right?
Yep.
That it's an old saying which suggests that if someone does something very bad to you, it's better to pay them back later on, not immediately. And that's exactly what Kun Thaksin is doing. Because for him, after 17 years of political exile, he is finally having his days, having his sweet revenge.
Who's he revenging this time? There
Of
seems
course,
to be a lot of people.
All right, and you know who is his first target, right?
Yeah. So it's Phalang Pracharat.
Right. General Prawit Wongsuwan,
Yep.
leader of Phalang Pracharat. And of course, he is the number one top on the list of persons that he need to seek revenge against.
There's a headline actually. So we have a headline of General Prawit. This is as he leaves as he leaves the Phalang Pracharat party meeting yesterday. He waves to a reporter. He didn't give any interview, but he says it's okay.
Okay. As we just mentioned, that Thaksin's first target of revenge is none other than General Prawit, the leader of Phalang Pracharat party, which once served as the political vehicle for the military that ousted the government of his sister, Kun Thaksin's sister Yingluck Shinawatra, back in 2014.
Yeah.
And Thaksin definitely has never forgiven Prawit for what he believes to be the former general's role in his own ouster in the military coup d'etat back in 2006, which led to Thaksin's 17 years of self-exile. Yeah.
Yeah, but remember, General Prawit's party actually voted for Paetongtarn.
That's right. Yeah.
But he didn't vote.
But not him, but not himself.
Not him.
So after days of long-drawn bargaining, the Thai party, or should we say Thaksin, has decided to drop Prawit's party from the coalition that is being formed by Thai party.
Yeah.
And of course, there has always been a question as to what led to the breakup between the two, because formerly these two persons were quite close.
Yes, actually, but so one possible point that they might disagree is when General Prawit was approaching his retirement, and this is Thaksin says he wants to be made chairman of the National Anti-Corruption Commission, but then he was denied the post.
Thaksin turned him down, and that Thaksin believed back then was the major cause of their rift. But what is interesting is that so far, Thaksin said this almost 2 weeks ago, right?
Yes.
But there has been no response from Kun Prawit, or no denial, or any statement from him at all on this particular issue.
Another fallout was, remember, the 40 senators who initiated the petition to remove Prime Minister Sethar. That was believed to be linked to General Prawit as well.
That's right. Because these 40 senators that belong to the former Senate, right, are believed to have been closely associated with Kun Prawit. So Kun Thaksin certainly could not help but seeing Prawit's hand in this endeavor when to have Kun Sethar ousted as Prime Minister. So this another issue that brought them further apart. But the last straw came last week when Rung Klai Rikit Wattana, a member of Palang Pracharat Party who is known to be very close to General Prawit, asked the Election Commission to launch a probe into Paetongtarn's qualifications as Prime Minister. And this certainly is something that Thaksin could never accept.
That's the last straw.
That's the last straw.
That's why he's invited the breakaway.
Yeah, that's right.
faction of
No, but kicking out Prawit and his party, Palang Pracharat, from the new coalition is only the first step of Thaksin's revenge against the former general.
Oh dear.
Because to add insult to injury, Thaksin has invited a breakaway faction of Prawit's party to join the coalition instead.
We're talking Kun Thammanat Phongpao and his friends.
Yeah, the faction that is being wooed by Thaksin comprises about 20 or so MPs of Palang Pracharat Party. And the faction is led by, you just mentioned, Thammanat Phongpao, a very controversial politician and Prawit's nemesis. Right? And it's evident that Thaksin doesn't mind the fact that Thammanat has a record of conviction due to a drug case in Australia back in 1994, as long as Thaksin is assured of Thammanat's royalty.
Speaking of General Prawit, we do have another caricature to look at. This one's from Thailand. Let's look at the cartoon, the one with the boat sinking. Yeah, this one here. So on the bottom, let's start with the bottom. We have a round man. Apparently his boat is capsizing, and on the boat there's a sticker that reads Pawpochoro, which means Palang Pracharat. And on the wave, it's written that in first cabinet, yes, basically. And the first one also, there's a lady trying to walk up a mountain. The sign points to first cabinet as well. And on the mountain, there's a word Jariyatham or ethics written on it. So he's trying to climb a mountain of ethics or standards. I don't know.
I think if you read the Thai media carefully, you get the feeling that they do not believe that Kun Paetongtarn's tenure will be a smooth sailing, because she is expected to encounter a lot of challenges that she never imagined that she would face. And coming back to General Prawit, many of the political analysts, interviewed by Thai media, believe that the ex-general will not go away easily. He may be down but not out yet. Don't forget that he still remains an influential figure, and his ability to rock the boat cannot be underestimated.
So revenge is best served cold. It might serve it back to you.
Yeah, that's right, that's right. Because the fact is that many of those sitting in some of the independent bodies that can rule on the fate of politicians are known to be closely associated with Kun Prawit. And they include the Election Commission and the Constitutional Court. And don't forget that...
Possibly the Senate?
Yeah, and don't forget that most were appointed to these positions while the military junta or the military appointed Senate were in power. So these analysts point out that Prime Minister Sethar's ouster by the Constitutional Court just 3 weeks ago caught most people by surprise, right? Even us, we were reporting live.
We didn't think that it was
expect that things would happen that way. And the point is that more surprises like that should not be ruled out.
So that remains to be seen. But when Palang Pracharat is, maybe they need to go back and rethink the strategy. The Democrat Party is actually celebrating, at least part of the Democrat Party.
Yeah. And that is, I would say, the second target of revenge. The Democrat Party.
Second target of revenge.
Okay. Of course, we all know that there is a long history of bad blood between the Democrat and Pheu Thai parties, right? And Thaksin certainly has not forgotten how many of the key figures of the Democrat Party played a role in the mass street demonstrations that led to the ouster of his sister Yingluck Shinawatra as Prime Minister in 2014. So something unimaginable a few years ago is happening now. Thaksin is inviting Democrat Party to join the coalition being formed by his daughters, Phaya Thongtan.
Ouch. Let's look at this headline. We actually have this headline that talks about the Democrat Party. The highlight in yellow actually says Pak Alai. So spare parts, opportunistic, I don't know.
No, the straight translation should be a spare part party. Spare part in the sense that the party will always be on the standby to be recruited by Pheu Thai party to join the new coalition. And this the blending given to the party certainly doesn't go down well with Kun Chun Lik Pai, a former party leader. He said it's not fair to call the party a spare part party because the whole thing that is being undertaken by the party leadership, meaning wanting to join the coalition being formed by Pheu Thai party, it's only a matter of few people. So these are the real spare parts, the party members, not the party.
Not the party, right. So these are the spare parts. We do have a headline that talks about Kun Chuan as well. This headline is from Nao Na. So it basically says Kun Chuan restates his stance and the party must not betray the people. So it basically talks about how the Democrat was treated back when Thaksin was in government.
So is Palang Pracharat out and the Democrats in? And what is interesting is that the current leadership of the Democrat Party has shown no qualms at all about jumping on the bandwagon. Its Secretary General did it. Khao Thong insisted that the party is ready to bury the hatchet with Pheu Thai party for the sake of national reconciliation. That's the formal excuse. We shake hands with our old enemies for the sake of national security, for national reconciliation, and for the country to be able to move forward. But of course, this deal is coming with a huge price for the country's oldest party, because many of the party's old guards, we mentioned Kun Chuan, right, have voiced strong opposition to its joining the Pheu Thai-led coalition. And of course, Kun Chuan has been the most vocal of all these former leaders of the party.
So it seems that political parties are somehow weakened by what is happening at the moment, because usually when you're in a political party, you stick together. But this time, people are breaking away from their main party line to join the government, and part will remain opposition. Isn't that a bit?
No, many political analysts are not surprised by what is happening. They believe that this is part of Kun Thaksin's strategy to weaken whoever are seen as his political opponents. So cutting Democrat down to size and cutting down Palang Pracharat party down to size is part of these strategies.
Divide and conquer.
To divide and conquer. And he seems to be succeeding to a large extent with his efforts now.
So he's reading Art of War.
That's right.
He's been reading Art of War, and that still works.
Okay.
We do have another person who has been talked about in politics this week, which is Kun Seri Pisut.
Oh,
came out yesterday.
He certainly dropped a bombshell on Thursday night.
Yeah.
But what is interesting is that for weeks, Kun Seri tried to portray himself as being part of the coalition being formed, right? He appeared in every press conference that the Pheu Thai party organized. But all of a sudden, he just dropped a bombshell saying that he's now turning against Thaksin. And he admitted that the main reason is that because he has been denied any positions in the new coalition government. So that's the last straw. That he said that Thaksin kept promising that I would be rewarded for my support for the Pheu Thai party. And look, what I'm getting, nothing.
Yeah, because in his press conference on Thursday, he mentioned a lot when he was the police chief, and people come up to him to ask for positions and favors, and he was generous. That's what he was trying to say.
So he was, in short, he has been trying to seek a payback, right? But somehow the Pheu Thai party, Kun Thaksin in particular, has not been very responsive But it's not what he decided to do that is making big headlines. It's what he has been saying about Thaksin.
Yeah, he actually admitted that he met Thaksin when he was detained in hospital on the floor.
So that is the most important
problem?
things that he has been saying, that why Kun Thaksin, as we all know that Kun Thaksin was sentenced to jail term, right, but never spent a day in prison because he spent all the time recuperating, claiming to be recuperating in the police hospital. And nobody was supposed to be allowed to visit him.
Yeah.
But Kun Saripisut claimed that he met Thaksin at least twice through the coordination of one of the people close to Thaksin. And in one of his meetings with Thaksin, he claimed that Thaksin asked him to drop a charge he filed against then Prime Minister Sethar in connection with the appointment of the police chief, which was a big controversy back then. And Thaksin asked, according to Kun Saripisut, Thaksin asked him to drop the charge, to drop the case. And he complied with the request, hoping that he would be rewarded somehow, sometimes in the future.
Yeah, but he's not getting what he wants.
And what is certainly be of big interest to the media is that Kun Saripisut said that he is willing to tell all the conversations he had with Kun Thaksin.
He had records of the line chat as well in the press conference yesterday. He also said he thinks that Pattongtarn government will be short-lived.
Yeah, he didn't expect the government to be led by her to last very long, because he anticipates a lot of legal challenges waiting Kun Pattongtarn once she takes office. All right, this certainly a busy week.
It has been a busy week, and next week maybe a bit busier, because we're still waiting for the new cabinet, so it remains to be seen.
Until then.
Yeah, until then, we'll see you next week on Saturday as usual. Have a great weekend. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you.